Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome back to another episode of It's Bigger Than Me. And this time we're going to be starting a series that definitely hits close to home. And I am very, very excited. So if you don't know what this podcast is about, if you don't know what this entire just It's Bigger Than Me platform is about, you definitely got to watch the video before this because we got an introduction that is going to blow you out of the water. And it's just going to show you the rawness and the realness that we're about to bring. When I say we, I mean me. And other guests that I bring onto the show on this channel, on the podcast, or whatever it is that you are listening to. So, you guys, I'm going to dive right into it. You know, on social media, there is so much being said, and basically look at it as people's highlight reel, right? They're going to show you what they want to show you. But what about the stuff behind the scenes? What about the stuff that makes them be that glimmer of success that you're looking at? Or maybe that person that has it all, right? What got them there? There are so many stories behind the scenes that aren't being told. And that's one of the things where I told myself when I really start to build my brand, which this was about 3 to 4 years ago, I want to make sure that people understand this is the raw and the real. And whether I'm having a good day, bad day, people are going to understand that, hey, this is a real chick that is going to share everything. And I can tell you, I have friends and family that hate it. They're like, why do you share so much? And I'm like, because I know my story's bigger than me. I know it's so much bigger than me, and I know that I have something of value to give. So why not give it? Because I believe the rent on this earth, the rent that we pay on this earth is service. So if my service can be my story to share with somebody else to inspire them and move them, why wouldn't I, right? So this series that we're about to kick off, something that's near and dear to my heart, and it's funny because it actually came from a Facebook Live that I did months ago. I had a guy in a comment on my picture one time being like, alpha females, it's not even a thing. That's not real. Blah, 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 just basically told us to hush up. A man playing a role of the superiority, right? Now, talking about the hierarchy of a man and the woman, we're not even going to get into that. But, something that stood out to me in that was I saw a girl automatically jump into these comments and she started going to bat, being like, who are you? How do you not know that alpha female is a thing? And it's funny because I said, okay, the fact that he doesn't know means that he's probably created a few. Now you're probably thinking, okay, well, a few of what? Like, what is an alpha female? And that's what I want to dive into because when I did this video, it was one of those things where people are just like, whoa, didn't even know, and an alpha female, I firmly believe, and this is from my personal experience, alpha females are created. They're not born, they are created. Now, that is a very, very powerful statement because most of the time it's created from a pain point and it's created from a traumatic experience or it's created from something that literally turned them to be like, I don't ever want to feel like that again. And I don't ever want to feel weak. I want to be able to stand on my own 2 feet and I don't have to have anybody in the sense of you can be all right with just you. So there's different levels of alpha female. You can get to the extreme, which is more so that, or you can get the ones that are really just they know what they're about, they're powerful, and they're not afraid to show it. And that's another side of it. So what is an alpha female? An alpha female, you know, that lady, that woman when you walk into a room that good posture. She walks with a confident body language. She knows her stuff. She knows where she's going. Quite honestly, she probably intimidates a lot of men, and I'm gonna get to that because that right there is so, so key, but it's so important that you see more alpha females being created now because you see more women in a business role now, and we're gonna get to the business side of things too because that is vitally important. One thing, if you find a female that is in her purpose, in her power, that female's unstoppable. That lady is unstoppable. And that's one of the most powerful creatures, powerful things out there is a woman that knows her worth and knows that she has it and knows that she's not going to settle and she has a bigger purpose. Hence the show, you're going to see across the board that it's bigger than me because it is. Everything. My story, everything I've been through. And yeah, I'm turning 29 this week. So I still have a lot of life to go. But this podcast, this video, this series, And everything I'm going to share on this channel is just stuff that I know provides value. Why? Because I've already tested it out. I've already had people being like, yes, yes, and results are speaking and people are connecting. And that is what matters is people want to know that they're not alone. And when I started talking about this alpha female topic, people were like, "What? I didn't even know it was a thing." So, getting right into it, let's jump into the traumatic experiences, and it's going to get a little deep, a little heavy for you right now. But you know what? We're just going to start it off because I would not feel right if I didn't share this part of me with you for the sake of this topic because this is where it began. So when I was born, I knew I was somebody different. I knew that my vibration and my walk was different. I just knew it. And I didn't know exactly what it was meant for. Now, if you watched the video before this talking about, my intro as to how I used to be a news anchor and reporter, I thought that was it. I thought that I was going to be able to help people by sharing their story. Well, at the end of the day, it didn't turn out for me because I didn't wanna talk about death, destruction, and just horrible things. I didn't think that that was the way to go at all. So I ended up getting out of it. And, um, in that process, I just knew that there was something bigger and there was something else. But guess what? Before I got into the news, that's when my alpha female started kicking in. So what happened? So I grew up in private school, went to public high school. My senior year, had a boyfriend, my first love, right? I ended up actually uprooting from my hometown, going to the middle of nowhere, Montana, to go to school for a volleyball scholarship to be with my then boyfriend and to be with somebody that, I thought that was the one. Didn't turn out to be. So, I'm not dropping any names here. I'm not going to. It's just not necessary. But, in that process, it was very emotionally draining and abusive and just a lot of things that really brought me down. I mean, for those of you guys that know me, I walk into a room and I'm just like, hey, 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 wanting to introduce myself to everybody, good posture, body language. But I wasn't always like that. I would walk in a room and I would look down and I couldn't even look people in the eyes and forget looking at a man in the eyes. Oh my gosh, I'd feel like the worst person because this person had that hold on me. And it was not a good feeling. And it's when you allow somebody to have that kind of hold on you, guess what? They're not doing it to you. You're allowing them to do that because you have all the power to be like, no, stop. But I wasn't strong. I was not strong then. I wasn't. So fast forward things, there was a night that came and I was put in a situation that I did not want to be in, tried to get out, and I was actually raped by my boyfriend. And you may be watching this being like, how does that happen? Consent. You guys are in a relationship. No, 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 no. Consent is saying yes. Consent is saying that you want it. Consent is not me saying no, stop, please don't. And during that entire experience, I can remember like it was yesterday, and it was just like, what is happening? How did I get to this point? Why wasn't I strong enough to say no and to just fight him off and just walk out? I thought I was in love, right? I thought that was it. And it wasn't, obviously. Obviously. You don't do that to somebody you love. So I remember, cleaning up and walking out and being like, this will never happen again. And I just something new just like sparked inside of me. Oh, and unfortunately for me, that turned into a lot of anger, a lot of hurt, and I should have, seen a counselor. I should have gone that route, but I harnessed it and I said, "No one's ever gonna do this to me again." And I got that little chip on my shoulder like, not gonna happen, right? And I found out, fast forward 10 years, that this was actually affecting me in all of my relationships. Now you might be like, "Hey, we're talking about alpha female, not relationships." Here's the thing, that's where it was born because at the end of the day, women are such vulnerable, soft, and nurturing creatures, and men come through. And because of their insecurities, because they don't know who they are and they want to feel dominant and they want you to know who's boss, there's gonna be times where it's gonna get to the point where maybe I got, unfortunately, or they're gonna verbally or mentally just abuse you because they want to feel powerful because they don't even know who they are. I've forgiven that person. I haven't talked to that person ever since, really. And at the end of the day, it was it's crazy because, yeah, that's a really extreme example, but I'm sharing that with you because so many women go through things every single day where they're, beaten mentally, physically, emotionally, right? And you have a choice. You have a choice, just like I had a choice. I could have let that affect me for the rest of my life in a bad way, not use it towards good, but I did, even though it did affect me in every single relationship that I've been in after. And I did not heal from it until about a year ago. And I didn't even know it was affecting me, but I used it for good. But a lot of women don't even know how to rise up against that. And so, from instances like that, or instances of abuse, or instances of negativity, because a man cannot handle his own stuff, alpha females are born. Why? I can do it on my own and I don't need you. That's where it came from for me. It was like, you know what? Like I dated people and I kind of sometimes not I don't want to say cherry picked, but I dated men where it's like, no, I knew I held the power. They're not gonna, it's not a trait that it's not something I am proud of, but it's something that I did do because I did not want that to happen to me ever. And a lot of women, they get that I'm never gonna have this happen again. I don't need you kind of a thing. But guess what we do? And we'll get into the whole dating and the alpha female part of it because, alpha females all very intimidating. But men, you guys watching this, you guys hearing this, what I want you to understand is that if you find an alpha female, chances are she went through something so traumatic or something hurtful, painful, abusive, and it is locked in so deep that, especially if she's the type like I used to be, being like, "I don't need a man, like, I'm good." But at the end of the day, I wanted to be loved, I wanted to be in relationships, I wanted that void to be filled because somebody ruined it so long ago. So, check that. Check that. If you find a strong female and she kinda comes off just kinda like, "I got this, like, I don't need you, like, da 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 da," or even she's just super, super strong, you gotta ask yourself why, or maybe ask her, because I never really had anybody ask me, but I have such a strong turtle shell that good luck. You really gotta know what you're looking for, and I see it, like, I'm a very observant person, so I know when you're looking, and if I wanna share, I'll share. But here's the thing, there's still a lot of beauty in being a strong alpha female because the one thing I absolutely love, and not that I love that I had to go through that situation, but it all happened for a reason, right? I love the fact that I get women that come up to me and you're like, "You're so strong. You're so powerful. You're so this and that. I look up to you, and I can use my pain in the past for good to be able to empower and help other people." Because guess what? Other people want to know that you feel too joy, love, hurt, pain, anger. They want to know that you're not a robot. And that's one of the things, it's like throughout my entire journey, from start when I got out of the news to now, there's so much success in that, but there's also so much learning and so much that has gone into it where it's like somebody needs to know, okay, if I want to get to where he or she is, how did they get there? But guess what? You need to know what they went through because maybe you're not going to go through something exactly similar, but you're going to go through something that's going to hurt. It's going to define you in some regard. I wish that didn't define me, and it doesn't, but it has a big imprint on my life, a big imprint. And, it wasn't easy coming to grips with that about a year ago that, wow, this has been affecting me all along. But guess what? That sparked something inside of me that was just like, I got this. But here's the thing, I did have that, okay, I got this and I don't need you. I got this and I don't need you. And I love being around people, but I couldn't trust people. I couldn't open myself up because I did not want to get hurt. And I'll be honest, the strongest people on the inside are just as soft. Maybe you're not in agreement with that, doesn't really matter, but for me, that's the truth. I tell people just as hard as I am on the outside, like, tough, got it all together, like we're good. Guess what? I don't have it all together. And I want nothing more than to be in love and have a family. A lot of people look at me being like, "You're so career driven, you're so strong, you're so this, you're so that." And I'm like, "Yeah, you know what I really want? Are children, a husband, and a husband to, I don't want to just say take care of me, but to be my best friend, my ride or die. We're partners in this, we're equals." And for the longest time, I'll just briefly sweep over the dating portion because we'll get to that on a later episode. But it's not easy being an alpha because I know a lot of guys are intimidated. Why? Because I know I challenge them. I know what I want. I know where I'm going. I know that if I'm going to let you in, you got to add value to me. And I to you, I already know I'm going to add value to you. Like if I've chosen you and you're it, like it's on. I'm there. But I got to know that you're going to add value to me emotionally. Because an alpha female, she can go get her own money. She can do whatever she wants. She has it because she doesn't need to depend on anybody to get anything, right? But we're always better in twos and in groups, pairs, always better. Way better than just being one, be by herself, right? So I know I've intimidated a lot of guys, and I know that, the Lord has definitely blessed me with, a lot of talents, gifts, charisma, looks, and I'm grateful for that. But here's the thing is that I don't settle. I don't settle. I used to. I used to settle because I'm like, what man is going to be able to handle a true alpha female? So I would settle. I would be meek. I would be mild. Exactly what I did not want to be, I would because I wanted to be accepted. But now that I've come into my own and I'm like, hey, you know what? You don't have to do this at all. And the right person will come along and the right person will be it. But it's very difficult for an alpha female. So that's why you see a lot of, strong females just get into business, be about their business, and that's all they're focused on because they're good at it. They're good at it. And you got to take emotions out of business, which is great. But what they really want is love. So, at the end of the day, when it comes to that alpha, it's crazy because it will attract and, distract. It will attract the right people into your life because they want that energy, that confidence, that influence, that I know where I'm going. But it also can distract people being like, I don't like she's too much or, I can't handle it. When really all you're doing is your confidence, your vision, your certainty is having other people check themselves because maybe they don't know. They don't know what they want to do, but you do, and that intimidates them, male or female, really. Let's be honest, not just guys, male or female. So, you know, I truly believe that alphas are not born, they are formed out of some kind of experience in their life. Some kind of an experience. And I'm going to be honest, ladies, I'm not proud of this, but because of my mindset and where I was at, I actually didn't like hanging around women. I didn't. I wanted to hang out with the guys because it was, there was no emotions, no drama, no this and that. Well, guess what? Guys still bring drama. Let's be honest. Let's not fool ourselves here. But that actually hindered me. As an alpha female, I disconnected with my emotions so hard that I had trouble accessing my femininity, being comfortable in my own skin, being gentle, meek, and mild when I needed to be. Instead, with the guys, I'm just like, "What's up, man? How you doing? What's good?" Boom, boom. No guy wants that. No guy wants you to be a part of the bros, a part of the pack. I mean, it's cool to be able to hang out with them, but they want a lady. They want a woman. They want a woman. And I had guys being like, "Dude, I don't want one of the bros. Like, I don't." And that would hurt me. That would kill me inside. But that's how I was showing up. And alpha females, we struggle with that. If we're really that strong-minded, strong-headed, it's a struggle. And I did that because I wanted to be accepted by the guys, right? I didn't want to be hurt by them and open myself up to them. So at the end of the day, it's one of those things where being an alpha female is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. If you find one, if you know one, compliment her on well done getting to this point. But ask her, are you good? And maybe if you get a little bit deeper and you get to know her, what made you who you are today? What made you become so strong and so certain and so concrete? And maybe they're not going to have a story like mine. Probably not. And I shared that with you because there was pain that started that. A lot of pain and a lot of hurt and a lot of anger and distrust. And I didn't heal with it the right way, but I channeled it and I put it towards something good. And now, the legacy that I'm building, that I'm leaving, and that I'm creating for my future family, it's one of those that I am just so excited. And that is what this was all for. But it came at a price. It came at a price, and I don't wish that price on anybody. I truly don't. I full heartedly believe that when it comes to just being a strong female, it's one of those things where, for me, for example, I know I get lost in my career very easily. I get lost in building my business very easily because I'm good at it, good with people. I'm focused, tunnel vision, right? Because then you don't have to connect emotions. Then you don't have to think about how you really feel. And because you're so strong, people usually won't ask you because they think you're going to be good. I can't tell you how many times I reach out to people being like, "How are you? How are things going?" And then they ask how I'm doing, being like, "Oh, yeah, I can already tell. I already know." It's like, "Do you though?" But you don't even take the time to ask. I know I put a lot out there to show you, but a few simple questions asking goes a long way. And sometimes people just don't have the capacity to ask. They don't. Or maybe it's just, yeah, they just don't know the right question. Questions are powerful. Information is powerful. Setting that setting that foundation of being able to trust somebody enough to open up to them, because everybody wants to talk about themselves. Everybody wants to talk about themselves. So give them a chance to. Give them a chance to, and you'll be surprised of what you can create when you allow people to open up to you. Like it's one of those things, as I always, to the people who are my biggest influences and that are very important to me in my life, and they're usually very strong people, I always make it a point to ask them, "How are you? How are things going? How are things going at home, outside of work?" Because we know that, but how are things going? Really talk to me. And then you see the guard come down, them sharing. And I know that was a powerful moment for them because not a lot of people ask. The power in questions and asking people, just because they look like the strongest person, they have their stuff together, and they're living the life. We're human at the end of the day. All of us bleed red. It does not matter your rank, your status, your title, what is you've accomplished. It does not matter. You're still a human being that feels things. And some may be stronger than others, yes. But people still want that connection. And I think as a, strong female, people are like, "Oh yeah, like you're doing great, you're doing this, you're doing that, da da da." But sometimes I would kill for somebody to really sit there and be like, "How are you?" I'll wait. I'll wait. But me, I'm moving so fast. I'm like, got so many things going on, so many people to take care of, doing this and that. That when somebody's like, I'll wait to hear what you have to say. I'll wait to really hear how you're doing." And that always says a lot, but we're all so busy that that rarely ever happens, right? So don't mistake someone's strength for, just assuming that they're good. A lot of people can put on a brave face. Take social media again, for example. People put out there what they want you to see, what they want you to see, not what really is going on or the meat and potatoes as to where they're getting to. And I'm sharing all this with you because you're going to get the raw, real, and the relevant. And coming up in some of these next episodes, I'm just going to grab my notes here. It's got it written down for this series. I mean, we're going to talk about things like what an alpha woman needs in a man. So, men, pay attention to that one. Ladies, it's definitely something to check into. The pros and the cons of it, traits, traits of an alpha female. What goes into that? Why alpha females are intimidating to men? Oof, one, alpha females in business, and the last one that is definitely gonna ruffle some feathers. Not proud of this, but something that has definitely been a thing, especially if you're as strong as I am and you feel the need to protect yourself. And I always felt the need to protect myself, or, just, I don't know, but emasculating men. Not proud of that. That used to be something because it was me protecting myself and being like, really? Like, that's what you're gonna do? Da da da. Because I have been just beaten and broken and do. And I told myself that is never going to happen again, but I wasn't doing it the right way. So I want to talk about that in another episode, because I feel like it's important for people to know that that's out there, know that that's not okay, and even emasculating, or not even emasculating, that's not the right word, but just the reverse role of that of men to women. I can't even think about what that is at the moment, and that's okay. You know what? Can't think of everything. But just we tear ourselves down so much that that's why this society is crumbling at its foundation. It's because we're not building each other up. And men and women wonder why. They wonder why they can't find a right him, a right her, because we're so busy tearing the other down, worrying about what the other thinks, partying, spending money that we don't have, and worrying about all these surface level things that don't even matter. Don't even matter. It's because you got to see the big picture. So really that's it that I have for this episode when it comes to what is an alpha female, but I just gave you, some of the topics that are going to be coming up over the next couple weeks to show you that, what, there's more to it than that. And there's going to be more serious diving into certain things that are really going to hit some pressure points for people. And that's okay. Because if it's a trigger point for you, that hits home for you, that definitely means it's something you need to reflect on, take care of so you can, move on and move forward. So, thank you so much for joining me on the second episode of It's Bigger Than Me, starting of the series, What is an Alpha Female? I appreciate all of you guys. If you have any comments or any